Today, guys, we're going to be discussing one of the first talks that we're going to have specifically focused on CBD. CBD is a new topic that is pretty much gone around the world over and over again over the last 2 to 3 years, and maybe a little bit more, as a lot of legislation has been performed that has allowed for this new product line to be available to a lot of people. So, Mr. Spencer Salas, let me go ahead and present you guys here. Okay, this is Mr. Spencer Salas. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. My name is Spencer Salas. Thank you.
Spencer Salas. Okay. All right, Mr. Salas. So my bad. And very typical. So what I do is I bring in different topics, and we want to bring you in here to discuss a lot of the things that you do. Now, you have a website. Tell me a little bit about your website and what is it you do in terms of your product lines?
Well, we kind of aim more towards the healing of people. We of course, when you start a business, you want to make sure your business is profitable, so you want to have a good foundation. But we started a little bit right before the pandemic hit. So we kind of chose to go online because that's the only thing we had available to get to our customers was the U.S. Postal Service. That's pretty much kept us running as a small business. We basically want to reach out and find a better way to heal people and help fight these cancers, and eventually be able to go more of a natural source of healing, and so we don't have no side effects of any negative side effects like for your liver and stuff like that with pharmaceutical drugs that kind of go have side effects.
Let me ask you, in terms of what you've done in the past, when did you begin this process of your company and CBD? Tell me a little bit about what you did and what was the beginning of your genesis of what happened.
Well, it's been an adventure. It started off with small products, and it was just something I chose as a small investment added to the things I was doing. Basically just investing in things that would sell and that are in demand. But CBD really stood out the most, and what really caught my attention was the feedback I was getting from people, and the feeling of being able to get that from people felt more profitable than actually receiving money. So that's what kind of went to, because I would work on these orders and I would work on getting this final product down. But I wasn't working because I was doing what I like to do. I found my calling, as anyone would say. So,
as something that you actually make a big difference for. Now, the store that you have is called, what is it? How do you find the store? How do you find you out there? Because I know that you're part of the community now, and people are really starting to use your products.
So we started off at a online, and basically, we wanted to reach out or get our products more to people and more to clients. So we went from online to actual storefronts, which means retails, food markets, farmer markets, and eventually started going from 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 7 locations now. I figured, it's probably where you...
Man, you got 7 locations around the whole area.
Well, they're not my locations. They're just storefronts where we have about 14 different products.
Areas.
Yeah, and we sell and we stock these locations up, which are called co-ops. And it's a storefront because that's where we actually set up.
You actually have a physical location.
Yeah, we actually have multiple.
What's the website called? Online?
It's onlinecbdstore.square.site.
Okay, that's square.site. Square.site. So I'm going to be popping that up in a second. But tell me a little bit about the beginnings of this.
So CBD, people will want to ask, well, what is CBD? Or it's THC? No, it's gonna, I'm gonna get in trouble for it. And really, CBD is more on the beneficial side than on the psychoactive side. CBD is mainly from the flower and stalks of the actual flower, and which means it contains a higher CBD
content.
Right, a higher CBD content. Meanwhile, the hemp seed comes from the cannabis sativa plant.
I see here on your website you have quite a different set of product lines, right?
Right.
So as we project here, how does someone work around your website? So as you kind of talk about the types of products and as you say these things, I want people to kind of find out where to go and how to work your site. Tell me a little bit about this particular site. So in terms of the product lines that you have, so go ahead and talk to me about the products and the differentiations here.
So we chose Square because they are more industry friendly. They also do your webs and stuff like that. So that's more of a smarter choice to go with when it comes to sales platform online. We also chose, started off with one actual product, the Young Slim 10 flower that is third grown in New Mexico.
Okay.
We started off with that product. Basically, we turned that one product into 7 different products, which means edibles, consumable, terpenes, vapes, pre-rolls, loose flower, basically into gummies and edibles, more like baked goods and stuff like that. We also had to kind of go with third-party buyers and vendors because some things we couldn't make based on our approval.
Excellent. Let me ask you, in terms of when you mention terpenes and different edibles, how is it that you go about choosing your lines? And then how do you find out what do your clients tell you as to what they're liking, I guess?
Well, we don't want to choose. We let the customers choose. So we just want to have a large variety amount. That's why we involve third parties so we could have what we cannot make.
Gotcha.
When it comes to pets and certain pet edibles and gummies, because you do need to have labs. Now, there was a difference in Texas and other states, of course, but the feedback is mainly what really helps their medical benefits in reference mainly in the CBD oils. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The CBD oils is more of a direct delivery system, so it has more of an effect, but it's also great because you could also use as a rub as well.
Well, I got to tell you, you mentioned something right off the bat that you said something about the using it for pets.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because there's a lot of pets that have, we all love our pets and we all love our animals and we all do appreciate, the need to be able to be with their good buddies. But sometimes we see that they're hurting or they have certain ailments and those kind of issues affect them. How did you guys begin, and what kind of products do you guys offer that support the canines or the other animals?
We have about 2-3 multiple products. Basically, if you could have your dog consume it, it's a plus. We started off with chewables, mainly towards duck and Alaskan, and those are third-party vendors that we chose to go with and invest with. But also we have our own CBD, our local grown, house made. It's a oil which is made with food grade mineral oil, which is basically consumable for men and humans and dogs and canine. We use different delivery systems, dropping it in their dog treats and stuff like that.
And what kind of results do you see a lot of people have with these?
Especially with bigger dogs. I have lots of family. They have Great Danes. We love big dogs. We have Saint Bernards and Great Danes and Pit Bulls as well.
Yes.
And Schnauzers. So
Schnauzers, yeah.
Yeah. So
I got Schnauzers. I got miniature Schnauzers.
We were raised with Schnauzers. Let me tell you,
Can you ever get those things under control?
Yes.
How do you control those? Because anyone that comes around the house, they go at them, and they don't stop.
It's the thing. The CBD is put answers to many questions, to many medical questions that a lot of people don't really want to put out there.
Such as what? Like what? Like give me an example of something that people may not be aware of that CBDs do assist with.
PTSD, anxiety, and with your pet. One time you come home and your doorknob's chewed off. Mm-hmm. That happens a lot if you have a pit bull or a German Shepherd. If you have a big dog like a Great Dane and it's howling and growling all night and yelping, these products they stop all that.
Mr. Salas, I think you've opened up a huge area here where as we kind of see that, we're going to be able to kind of assess the dynamics of probably what's going to actually happen over the next couple of weeks, because I see that a lot of people are going to want the help with their pets.
Well, you see, pets, it's very important, especially in this area because we do have a lot of military. We do have a lot of pets that have served, and a lot of dogs have pets that have served, and they're just like us.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned about PTSD, and sometimes these pets have stress, right?
Right.
So let's just talk about our pets for a second here before we get into the human components of it. What kind of things do you, besides the calm, what type of products would be recommendable, or what type of line of products would be recommendable from your point of view?
I would go, if you have a bigger dog, I would go with something that has a higher potency, more of a bioactive chemical, more concentrated with CBD, more like towards an isolate, and we could get to that later on, because it's mainly concentrated on that. So you could basically put that in the food. There's many delivery systems you could use but you want to get it in there as fast as possible and build it so the cannabino is actually fighting the anxiety, fighting those stresses and nerves and stuff like that.
I got to tell you, that's got to be exciting, because one of the things I've seen is that if we have our pets suffering, we suffer.
Yeah.
You come home and your house looks like a wreck, or your pet's hurt. You can see that your pet hurts, and does it help with certain ailments? Let's say like arthritis or joint pain in terms of with your pets.
Oh yes, especially with Great Danes because they're heavy, big heavy dogs. They're heavy and they like to sit with their legs out. They don't tuck them under. They sleep.
So their hips.
So their hips are mainly why, because they all sleep with their legs out. If you
Out there,
notice,
yes,
backwards.
yeah, I do.
If you notice, big dogs. So that's the main thing. And when they're yelping and purring, of course you want to be like, hey, well, I feel it. You feel their energy, you feel their pain. So of course you want to do something.
Let me ask you in terms of the CBD types. I see your website. Do you have different strains on your website?
No, we the only different strains we do have are third parties and other companies that we decided to work with because the laws, the way it is you can't sell New Mexico CBD in Texas, and well, basically you can't sell basically any other CBD product in Texas. It has to be a Texas product approved by the health department and barcode, and basically it's just its own little organization. You can't funnel in other products from other states. So
in terms of regulation, obviously we would have to go to New Mexico for the style and the types of CBDs that you would get over there, and obviously, like you mentioned, Texas, you'd have to go with Texas types of strains. What are you noticing the difference in the strains that are in both locations?
The difference is that there's more third-party involvement manufacturers, which means that there's bigger companies that have the funds, that have their actual labs, that do their own labs, and they're the ones that are basically hitting most of Texas. They're the ones that, because when you look at Texas products,
yes.
You look at Texas products, they're mostly more on the Delta 8s, Delta 9s, and it's a larger variety of vapes and design. New Mexico CBD, it's more towards the farmer, and its independent seller. So you have your own design, your own logo. You could do your own based on the agriculture license. It allows you to be able to do extracts and oils, and it has certain restrictions which you can't do. So it's different because in New Mexico you could set up, show them your agriculture license to any farmer's market. For instance, one of our storefronts is a food market. They have groceries. They do their own. They chop their own beef and everything, and they're allowed to sell our CBD because we're falling under those guidelines, and they're simple guidelines. Texas, they're very more like, we want to know exactly what you have, exactly where it came from, and which is understandable because it's a tough industry. It's a new industry, and people who are basically in the industry of the CBD and the hemp are basically the modern Rockefellers of its.
Yeah, exactly.
Industry.
This is, you see a lot of people talking about it.
Right.
I see it in our professional journals that there are people and companies that hit that. I have a question here coming from one individual. It says the differences between marijuana and hemp and CBD plants. Tell us a little bit about the difference of that, which is a real good question. Tell me a little bit about what is the difference between marijuana, hemp, and CBD? Let's take on, obviously, marijuana is the ganja.
Yes, the marijuana is the very controversial one. So if you want to imagine and start off with that plant, basically the components, it has the bioactive components. It has more of a psychoactive. It does have medical benefits, but because of its psychoactive activity, it's illegal. But now when you want to roll into CBD and hemp, so basically CBD is its own, it comes from the marijuana plant, okay? And it also, and that's where it grows to its CBD plant. But the difference between hemp is that the hemp plant comes from the sativa plant, which is a whole other different plant,
Gotcha.
which contains no CBD, compounds, but it does also contain medical benefits and bioactive chemical benefits, as into large milligram percentages. Once you'll see those hemp products that says 900,000. Well, that's because it's a variety of that hemp seed. You got more into the CBD. That's the difference is more. It actually has cannabidiol. Hemp doesn't have cannabidiol, and CBD has more of the cannabidiol compound, and that's what has most of the medical benefits, which goes to breast cancer. Now you want to say, oh, well, it cures cancer. Well, it kills the breast cancer enzyme, but it doesn't cure other cancers. But
Gotcha.
it is a healing form. The cannabidiol does attack. You have to build it in your system. You just can't take it one day and be like, hey, it's not doing nothing. Well, of course not. Like any other drug, you build a tolerance, and that's what you want. You want to build a tolerance. You make it part of your everyday. Now people say, well, it's addictive. No, it's not addictive because it doesn't have the psychoactive benefits of it.
I remember reading for years that there was a push for specifically, obviously the THC has its medical benefits and it shows well documentation, but the hemp and the CBD came on, and there was a battle. It was a war that broke out. Literally solved recently with the Farm Bill, which allowed for these things to be, I guess, propagated around the United States with different sets of rules. I do remember one of the things that was paramount in the decision-making process is that we as humans, we have echinosoid receptors, type E1, E2, echinosoid 1, echinosoid 2 receptors. By nature, that means that we ourselves have been needing this stuff from the genetic ontogeny, our ancestors. And for millions of years, we were using this product. So it stands to reason that if we got receptors for this stuff, that is part of a natural need, almost like our food and our need for kind of things like that. What's your take on the Farm Bill and the way it actually changed so that we were able to facilitate this new industry?
Well, the Farm Bill has been a blessing to not just us as either brokers, you would say, as in my terms, stock builder stores, but it's been a beneficial to the farmers, because if you're in land where you can't, the land doesn't have its own actual growth. Besides, like, for instance, New Mexico, they do a lot of cattle and hay and all that, but now you're adding hemp. Now you're adding hemp to this industry. It's a big threat as well, but when you want to go back to your question, it's very beneficial because these farmers, they get to grow. They get to do what they do. That's why that's why they're out there. You know what I mean? Not just that, we're able to enter an industry that is not only a booming industry, it's a right now it's almost a $6.4 billion industry.
Yeah, it's big.
And it's not just going to benefit us, it's going to benefit the farmers. The Farm Bill's been great. Our grower, I could go back to him, and he's grown our strain. He's grown that strain from Colorado.
Yes.
It's a third generation grown strain, and it's hard work. And then it's hard work because once you get the final product approved by the agriculture department, what are you gonna do with it? So the problem is right now is the agriculture that bill has been great. You're able to produce, you're able to create, and you're able to create a product that is also healthy for people. But the thing is, how are you gonna get it out there? Who's gonna do it for you? Who's gonna package it for you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's the thing. Now, when it comes to your body, there's this. You also have the canna receptors. You also have CB1 receptors, and you also have CB2 receptors. Because CBD is not just also CBD. There comes in a variety of also extracts with it, which is CBDGs and CBDAs. You know what I mean? So your body naturally has CBD1s and CBD2s. Now, you seen during the Egyptian times, hemp, that was their blankets. They made covers with hemp. They've made curtains with hemp. They made everything with hemp. You see this gap where they stopped hemp production. They stopped hemp, and it was put in the dark. Why? I could tell you why.
Tell me why.
Well, when you get a product that's gonna be able to take out opiums, like many other industries that capitalize on opiums and actually throw it out there in pharmaceutical drugs, and it also causes all these diseases, bladder and all kinds of stuff. When you get hemp, a single product that replaces 6 different medications, whose pockets do you think it's gonna hurt? You know, that's the thing. Yes. That's the threat, and it also is a political issue when it comes to Texas.
Tell me a little bit about that, okay? Because well, let's not talk about politics. I have another question here because he goes, I have a question here from a patient, actually. One of my patients, he's saying CBD and THC. What's the difference between THC and CBD? Let's go ahead and let's hammer that one away.
Okay, well, let's go. Well, and we'll go to the difference then. The difference is it's the compound. It's a segregated compound, which means the THC has a psychoactive compound, which means it gives you this euphoric feeling when you're relaxed, calm, and high. But it also, the reasons why it's illegal, it's because it kind of separates you from, your actual reality. That's the difference. It does have medical benefits.
Okay, I have actually a little demonstration here that you have here that you put up here. It's a little bit blurry, but it comes across really good. It's the THC and the CBD, so it helps ease pain. The THC helps with relaxation, suppresses pain from nerve damage, reduce risk from nerve damage, and suppresses muscle spasms and well as convulsions.
Right.
This is the THC. The CBD, what I see here, it says reduce at least a certain types of seizures, kills breast cancer cells. Interesting.
Right.
Stimulates bone growth, stops inflammation. It's an anti-inflammatory. It has anti-inflammatory properties, which, by the way, inflammation is the source of many diseases.
Exactly. So, like, if you want to aim towards the molecule setup, the structure there.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want to identify that's a big word.
Yes.
It's a tricky word. If you want to identify on the molecular structure, you can identify where it has the actual THC component separate to the CBD component, the cannabidiol.
Yes. Okay, right here. You see it right there?
The difference difference is that one's a double
bond and one's a single bond.
Exactly. One's a double bond and one's a single bond. And that double bond is the psychoactive benefit
component. So right there, what we're looking at, that little extension where the hydrogens attach or the molecules can attach, depending on what's going on. That's a carbon and to an extension of hydrogen ion. So it's a CH4 to CH3. And it will make a big difference, the psychoactive component. So, one of the things that I've been seeing here over the last couple of years is that the inflammation is the source of many diseases.
Yes.
And we discuss it here as a functional wellness practice often. Inflammation and oxidation, or oxidants in the body, anything that can help antioxidation or the process of working with radicals, oxygen radicals in our body really helps. So THC as well as CBD, particular CBD in this situation, makes a big difference.
Right.
And let me ask you this. When you look at this particular chart, and when someone's choosing the difference between the CBD and the THC, what kind of things do people come in asking for specifically? What's the biggest one that people say, you know what, not a larger majority of people pick?
As in a product, or as in
effect? An effect. They're looking for more anti-inflammatory properties. Are they looking for suppressing pain? What is it they're looking for?
Most of my clients have come out came with lymphoma, and then also anxiety for pets, and also inflammation, like you did say, because
first of all, Mr. Salas, I want to make sure that we're very clear. We're going to have additional presentations discussing these particulars. Let's say anxiety. That sounds like a monster subject matter. We're just today beginning as to what is it. So we're going to be going elaborate. So don't feel like we have to kind of go down that rabbit nest.
We got plenty
because there's plenty to go over. As I can almost see the phones. Yeah, I got a lot of people saying, because does it help with cancer and all that? I can see those questions. We're going to table those for a future presentation podcast, and we'll hit it much more logically. Okay?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about what they ask for in terms of the symptoms and the presentations that they feel that it works for.
Basically the pain, the lymphoma, the pain, and being able to sleep at night. People can't really sleep because of their arthritis. So most of the feedback has came back as in, hey, I don't got to take my medications no more. I'll stick to I have an aunt out of Midland, Texas, and she has lymphoma, okay? But she doesn't feel it anymore. So it's basically mainly towards that. I've seen
is that what she feels? Is that what she
don't feel it?
She don't
anymore.
feel it.
She stopped taking it, and then the pain came back.
Okay.
Why? Because your CBD1s and CBD2 receptors are not receiving anything anymore.
Right. So there is a big. You know what? Look, the fact is that our legislatures at the federal, state, and national level, they see it. They understood it. The studies and the people came. There's no way CBD, hemp, or THC products would have ever been allowed if there was not an effect. There were lines of people that showed the need for this, and these people lined up, and they became personal.
Yeah.
And eventually, some of those congressmen and senators, they said this stuff works, and we need it, and don't take it away from us. And that's why it's there. It's big.
It's big, but like any other industry, everyone's gonna want to capitalize off of it.
Yes.
The thing, there's a difference between a real person who's about the hemp products and someone who just wants to invest in it and make money. Because
Mr. Salas, speaking about that, okay, because I've seen this, and I went to high school in the 80s, and I saw a lot of my personal friends. They've been following this for literally since the mid 90s, and they are passionate. They are passionate believers of it. You don't get into THC or CBD because, I'm sure there's a chase for the money, but the passionate people, the people that love it, the people understand it, they're driven by a cause and a why that is very deep and very sincere. The why is very big, and I love that why, because it's that why that finds the right product and the right strain and the right design and the right presentation for someone's issues. So I definitely love that. Let me ask you, because I'm getting some additional questions here, and because we have tons of questions. Because you say, what are the benefits of CBD, and is it real? Is it a cure-all? What does that mean?
It's very, very real. CBD it's been a blessing to many people. Why? Because of the medical benefits it's proven to have. For instance, inflammation, anxiety, PTSD, people who can't sleep at night. So you know what I'm saying? I have people come back. I mean, they're like,
stop right there. There's CBDs that give energy, and there's certain CBDs that calm.
Well, based on your body, you see, if you have ADHD,
okay,
there's a difference now. You based on the psychoactive. If it's not CBD, you won't have a reactive. But if it's a psychoactive, a THC product, then you will have a immediate psychoactive reaction, because it's mainly a psychoactive reaction towards your body. You will feel a difference. But when it comes to CBD, you're not aiming towards a psychoactive. You're aiming towards your pain. When you get pain through your nerves and your inflammation, CBD compounds attack that.
That is so useful information. That is really, really.
Right.
I see the difference. So it is a dynamics. It says here the person's asking also. Which are the most what are the principal uses of CBD, and which are the most products sold that people use? I guess what that means.
Well, the most useful CBD, well, it's useful for anxiety, again, for inflammatory, for PTSD, for pets. Again, you said something about a cure. It kills the breast cancer. Now, there's different cancers. I'm not saying it kills all the cancers, but it is a healing point. That's a point where we could start. Again, that's when the isolates come in to aim more of the direct pains. And that's where, you could start a great bond to start fighting those pains. And what was the following question?
The other question was products most sold, the ones that people seem to migrate to.
Again, we're going to go more to right now the highest product in demand selling is the pet, because everyone
loves their pet.
Everyone loves their pet. Everyone loves their pet.
Hey, they don't love their wives, but they love their pets.
No,
man.
well, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you.
Tell me about that.
Let me tell you. Their wives, a lot of my buddies, their wives have a lot of problems, a lot of health issues, and when one of them comes and tells me, "Bro, my wife could sleep," he is happy. And if he's happy, his wife is happy.
You know what?
Dude, my wife could sleep. Oh, thank you, and that's where you.
Can you hear that? She's snoring, man. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow. It's gonna be a good day
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Oh yeah, like that, and that's the benefits. That's what CBD is for.
Yes.
Because you could CBD is I'm telling you,
a little bit for my dog and a little bit for my lady.
A little bit for one for the best friend and one for the girlfriend. And then when you're calm and relaxed, go ahead to your backyard and roll yourself up some teeth. And you'll be able to.
You know what? This is this is a movement. This is obviously a movement. Okay.
It's a movement, but it's also a movement which is gonna cause a lot of threats to pharmaceutical drugs. It is.
You know what?
It really is.
I know it, and I hear it all the time. And it's one of those things where if it has an effect and it's free, the pharmaceutical will suppress it. Yeah, so and it's free because if it's simple, they don't want, they want complexity because they get access to the complexity.
You see, that's what they're gonna happen because the pharmaceutical they're into making money.
Right. Yes.
You have to give away a certain percent of their products for promotions, for sales, for benefits. Like, hey, we're giving away a little bit of this. That's great. I mean, but what are the effects you're gonna have when your child takes this for their epilepsy? What are the effects you're gonna take this for your bladder cancer when you're fighting lymphoma? How are you gonna deal with the pain?
Yeah.
Without having bladder side effects.
Exactly.
So that's the problem. Now that it's an industry, now everyone's getting in it. Retailers want to get in it. All the wrong people are trying to get in it because again, this is an actual really.
How do you help someone pick a good company like yourselves? Because I know that I've met you, and I know you are nothing but a passionate individual. You love what you do, and you're driven by this cause. For those that live in different states, because sometimes people see they're far away, how do they kind of, vet a good CBD organization? Do they have to? Is that something that is easily discerned, or do you kind of just got to figure it out yourself?
Well, people go with like Google. Oh, let's Google what's the number one CBD product right now.
Right.
And of course, you're gonna get your results from and your ratings from other people, and well, that's great. You're getting results and choices done fast. But if you want to find a product that's really for you, I recommend you actually get out there. You go to stores, buy a little something from here, a little something from there. And mainly, talk to your hemper. I like to call them hempers.
Okay.
That's a little nickname I've given us.
Okay.
Hempers. So, talk to your hemper and talk to them. Talk to them. Be like, what can I do? You get to know, you don't want to travel millions of miles to get a product that's not going to fit, or you want to pay almost $100 for a oil that's not going to do anything. So, you want to kind of test it out. You want to test out like any other product. The good thing is that the great thing is that you could test these products without having any negative side effects. Like when they sampling out drugs in the mail for let me send you, for instance, let me send you a couple pills of our drug, and let's see how it works. You see, it's a good tactic, but you're still giving out that negativity. So
let me ask you something, because I did notice right now I have another person asking me a question here. It says, what are the laws in Texas to regulate the age limit? And also in that same kind of what are the laws again in Texas to regulate this? Is there an age limit? And can CBD be detected on a drug test or a field lab? How does that work?
Okay, so Texas CBD, to buy CBD 21 and up. Ever since the new tobacco law changed, 21 and up, hands down, anywhere. So when it comes to in Texas, it's like its own legal structure, and it's because in Texas, every product that sells, you have to have both of your permits, of course, but every product that sells has to have a barcode with exactly lab results. When it comes to field testing, anyone could test anything if they have the right proper tool to test for that enzyme, because that's what those tests do. They test what enzymes are in your body.
Yes.
And that's how it filters through the drug detector filter deal. So Texas, it's the only thing that comes out as CBD, they're not going to test for CBD. Why? Because it's a legal product. They're going to test for THC. So when it comes for testing for THC, when it comes to a field test, it is going to come up with THC because of its legal content. Now, this is where the gray area comes from. This is the problem. This is why them barcodes and all this stuff came in, because cops were like, hey, well, we're pulling over people with products and we're putting people in jail when they have legal products.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why these new CBD laws just came out. So to identify where it's come from, the THC content, now they use this barcode, and they scan that barcode, and it tells you exactly where it is, and where it came from.
That means that the government has to, or those analyzing have to have
they're federalizing.
Yeah, they have to kind of have some real good spectroscopes to be able to see what type of version the product line is.
Right.
So that makes perfect
when it
sense.
comes up in a drug test, I've only seen results like with gummies. If you eat a couple CBD gummies, of course, it's going to have the THC legal content, but that'll come up on a drug test. I've seen that. But on every other product, it hasn't.
I think the best bet, if you're going to be going to, let's say, a federal job or let's say an interview of some sort, is probably to avoid it, just to be
on the safe side.
Yeah, on the safe side. You don't want to get caught up in that, because that you could lose a great job over that stuff. So there's another question. It goes, it says, what is the process to harvest the product for CBD? Okay. Let's go to the other one. I think that we'll take that one next. Is it addictive? And what are the emotional benefits? Is CBD addictive?
It's not addictive. The only thing that's addictive is the healing benefits.
All right. I'm liking that. That's what I'm talking about.
Benefits,
I love that. If the addiction is the freedom you get,
Orale. The health pain, man.
So that's incredible. What is the process of the harvest and production of CBD? So if you can, I don't know if that's I think that's its own podcast.
There for you though.
Yeah, you go ahead. Take me.
So it starts off with choosing your product, choosing what strain you want to go with. Then basically, what potency of THC it's in the seed. Then you want to go with your fields, your land. You want to have good land, good irrigation. And then you start growing. If it meets the legal content, you send it to your agriculture department or whatnot. As I'm going based off of New Mexico personal experience. So you would submit your sample, your batch. It comes more than THC of its legal limit, 0.03. Then the whole acre is basically.
Oh, so there's a system to work it.
Yeah, used by batches. And once you get that batch, it took our grower out of eastern New Mexico and out of Tucumcari, New Mexico. It took him about 3 generations to get it to that legal content and to be able to sell it. But yeah, basically, it's the hard part is getting the CBD products to the people and knowing the people, where it's at and basically what to choose.
That is awesome. Let me ask you a last question. What is the dosage and how long should you take it for the benefits? So again, what is the dosage that they're asking and how long does it take to see the benefits? And how does it affect your body and the cellular health? So let's take the first one, which is what is the dosage and how long you should take it?
Well, you want to go based off your body weight, like any other drug. Again, you're gonna have to experiment, is what they say. Test it out, try it out. You'll start seeing an effect based off our products.
I'm not gonna overdo my
Feedback.
wife, right? She's not gonna go into La La Land forever.
You see, that's the THC. CBD, you don't get that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
you don't get. You see, you with her, she'll if she's very nervous, she'll definitely be a lot calmer.
Yeah, she needs some CBD. That's no doubt, man. My lady needs it. She don't need to
Bro,
hear
she's
this
not watching, bro.
podcast.
You gotta go home after this, bro. But again, yeah, that's the difference, you know.
That is okay. How long does it affect your body cellularly? How does it affect your body cellularly in terms of its health? How does it affect it? Does it change it, or does it just assist it in its process?
What I've seen in feedback, around 21 days, about 15 to 21 days, I've seen people come back, be like, "Hey, I don't feel nothing no more. I'm gonna stop taking it." So that's how and it's an average time based on most of my clients and clients that my other, the storefronts get from their feedback, and you'll start seeing an immediate on a good dosage once you find out where you're at. You'll start seeing a quick immediate, and again, once you're there, don't stop taking it. Don't stop taking it. Make it part of your life. Make it part of your diet. Make it part of your workout. That's why it has all those. It has all those benefits.
All those benefits. Yeah, exactly.
You make it part of your life, and that's what it is, and that's how you. The change is that you're pain free. That's the change.
Yeah.
You're able to live. You're able to sleep. You're able to concentrate. For instance, I guess I'll use me as an example as a diagnosed PTSD. It has done a lot for me. It's done a lot for me. I don't feel like I'll be able to be where I'm at now, as a financially and mentally,
yeah.
without these products that basically.
Well, you obviously have a powerful why for this. You've gone through some stuff that has made you some changes.
Yeah.
We as functional medicine doctors, as well as functional wellness and natural providing specialists that we are, we see the value in this. And when I go to symposiums, I see this stuff being it's very, very evident that it's making a very powerful hit in our community of wellness and fitness. I want to say thank you so much. We've been on here for almost an hour now. It's crazy. It's kind of crazy. It's 48 minutes of talking. It really seems like it's gone through quickly. I want to welcome you back so that we can discuss these particular dynamics. Things like PTSD and its effects, things like anxiety, things like colon effects, inflammation in general, all those topics that we were able to address. When we look at this stuff here on these topic design, we need to look at what nerve damage, reduce risks, issues on convulsions. I want to understand that a lot better. I know a lot of people want to understand the breast cancer issue, the reducing of different types of seizures, psychotic results, the antioxidants that I love so much. We have to do this. So each one of these topics are elaborate and they're deep in terms of its presentation. So we'll be talking about those things. So Ms. Salas, I want to thank you so much for being part of this, and I look forward to being able to go deep on this. We're going to be adding the phone number. I see the title was a little offset because it was a prior podcast, so we're going to fix that, and then we'll make sure we propagate this out so people can start seeing it.
Right.
So, Mr. Salas, I want to thank you so much for this thing. I think that you're a kind person. Anything else you want to leave us off with?
I want to thank you and your staff for
you're
being
very
there
welcome.
for me and helping me with my
issues.
And you guys have been great. I really recommend to anybody out there if you have chiropractic issues.
Yes.
Vista del Sol, Dr. Jimenez
Oh,
will take care.
This is about you, man. This is not about me, man.
It's all about all of us because I think
this is about you.
I think we provide happiness and health and healing.
Absolutely.
That's why did you go to school for so long?
Well, to give people health, as same reason. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Right.
It is one of those things where it's our calling to work with people and to take care of people. That's what we do. So we serve.
Yeah.
We serve.
I feel like that's what we're here for, and I feel like that's why we're still alive.
That's right. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for, it's clear that you're a very unique and special individual.
Likewise,
and I look
sir.
forward to be able to, thank you. And I look
Likewise.
forward to be able to go deeper into these really, really complex issues that I think affect a lot of people. So this is the beginning of CBD. What is CBD for El Paso, Texas? And we'll be going over some more stuff later on. Thank you, guys. God
Yes.
bless.
Thank you.